They get momentum from this and they can push on, and if they can beat Arsenal here on Saturday, the world is suddenly a better place once. So Carabao Cup night here for Newcastle United against Chelsea. This place will be packed in 2 hours time as Newcastle United look to try and remain in the game in the Carabao Cup, looking to win a competition, and hopefully Eddie Howe can put out a team that we hope can match Chelsea. Chelsea may make a lot of changes, but we know it's going to be a lot of quality. I think really for Newcastle, they go into this game on the back of that 2 undefeated Stamford Bridge. Very unfortunate in many ways, but also defensively Newcastle United cost themselves at the start of the second half. Certainly the first half they couldn't cope with Chelsea coming at them, but there were good things in that game as well. Don't forget, Newcastle ended the goal drought that they'd been suffering in recent weeks, and I think really bringing Chelsea back here tonight at St James Park, slightly different story to going to Stamford Bridge. Newcastle never do well here. Chelsea have suffered a few nightmares here themselves in recent times, losing 4-1 here last season. What a game that was. If Newcastle can conjure up anything like that tonight, well, we'll all be in for a really great evening here at St James Park. But ultimately, for Eddie Howe, this is a big chance to stay in the game, as I say, in the Carabao Cup. This competition for me represents Newcastle's best chance of a trophy. Yes, there's the FA Cup, but this one tonight, Newcastle, if they can get that big win tonight, then they'll go through to the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. And you know, there's a lot to be said about that. It keeps the season alive for another month. Failure to win tonight leaves them with 2 tough games against Arsenal and Nottingham Forest. And really, how do you judge the season if they lost them 2 games as well? This game tonight really can breathe some life into the season. It's an opportunity to get through in a cup and hopefully stop the rot, which is what Newcastle have been trying to do now for a good 2 months.
Number 10, Anthony Gordon.
So Newcastle United have done it. They're into the quarterfinals for the 3rd season running of the Carabao Cup. Not bad out there at all tonight. I think really Eddie Howe knows that his team have the capabilities. He knows on the day they can stand up and be countered, and today they were from the offset. And I think it's worth remembering that while Chelsea did make 11 changes, and you know, that's their choice to do that, they still had a quality team on the pitch. There was a lot of money spent on that pitch, and they couldn't live with Newcastle. They couldn't live with St James Park tonight. I think that's very important, and Newcastle United now know they've got an unbelievable chance in this competition. We now know they'll face Brentford in the next round in the quarterfinals here, and they're 90 minutes away from a 2-legged semi-final. So they won't get too carried away, but that gives Newcastle a lot to look forward to. It gives them something in the bank, keeps the season alive until December in this competition, and it just gives them that momentum. It breathes new life into the season. Last night, everyone going in this game was probably a bit nervous. Newcastle losing this one was pretty much unthinkable really for supporters. I think if you looked at the fixture list after this, we've got Arsenal here on Saturday and then Nottingham Forest away. The whole season has a different feel to it now, and it's thanks to this victory here against Chelsea. I think from the word go, we've seen a committed Newcastle performance. Anthony Gordon getting a challenger on the right hand side, making a block, and it just lifted the crowd, and they just continued to stick behind the players. We've seen a lot of noise going into the game, a lot of criticism, a lot of things said, but tonight the crowd here, the reality was they were right behind Eddie Howe. They were chanting his name right around the ground, chanting his name, Jason Tindall's name. They really feel that this setup can win something, and I hope that is the case, because we've been waiting for such a long time here at St James Park, and now that's 3 quarterfinals in a row in this competition, so not too bad at all. Eddie Howe after the game wanted his team to get credit for beating Chelsea. He wanted no illusions around this. It wasn't just beating Chelsea reserves, it's a very strong side. So Newcastle have a season saver almost here against Chelsea. They march on into the next round, but now the focus will be on those 2 Premier League games before the next international break, the last one of the year. And if Newcastle can pick up 3 to 4 points from those 2 games, hopefully 6. They'll be back in the top half of the table, and it'll be all to play for again. As I say, totally different feel around the season now. Newcastle into the last 8, and let's hope that this can be the start of something. They're going to hopefully get momentum from this, and they can push on. And if they can beat Arsenal here on Saturday, the world is suddenly a better place once again.